Oh, hello there. Yes, well, indeed, events. Dear boy, events. Yeah, you see, occasionally you make a video in the evening before, and you have to pray overnight that nothing big's going to happen. And of course, then it did. Yes. Anyway, waking up this morning was quite intriguing to see the news flowing in from the States. Yes, all about him, obviously. Yes. A gift for the grifters, of course, a gift for the grifters. But the useful thing about it, as far as I'm concerned, is it enables us to see exactly what they are doing and what they get up to. It's astounding that people who present themselves as forces and voices of rationality will patently do things that any rational person wouldn't. Yeah? So, we get a group of people who will tell you things that are inherently contradictory, whilst at the same time weaving a narrative which is all about their sense of their own self-worth and indeed persecution. Okay, and I just want to present you with a few cases here. Okay, first up, yesterday I was looking through Lawrence Fox, as you do, a very, very injured man. Let's not forget it. A racist who was taken to court, but isn't a racist because the courts are all something or other deep state. Yes. Anyway, he posted up Katie Hopkins, a woman who was taken to court, let's not forget, by Jack Monroe, because she insisted that Jack Monroe had done something that Jack Monroe hadn't. Still, I'm sure Katie is still absolutely right, and that 150k she had to give to Katie Hopkins, as well as losing the Daily Mail gig, it hasn't made her bitter in any way at all. Anyway, she posted up this about a Mr. Aronovich. Yes, a BBC reporter, because you see, if you need to weave a narrative into this whereby somehow the gunman on the grassy roofy knoll was in fact a Muslim employee, DEI employee of the BBC. We'll come back to that one. But anyway, so David had posted this because it gets complicated. Anyway, he basically posted up a kind of jokey reference saying, well, what we'll have to do now is kill Donald Trump. You know, those kind of things that people do in a funny sort of way. But it's only funny, right, okay, if certain people do it. Like if it's Joe Brand and it's the godlike figure of Nigel Farage, then it can't be funny. It just isn't funny. But if it's Lawrence Fox who says that somebody's a paedophile, it's just obviously a joke. It's just a joke. Yeah, you can't take a joke. That's the problem with lefties, can't take jokes. Anyway, he posted this, get there in the end. This morning, a tweet that I deleted, clearly satirical but deliberately misinterpreted, has been resurrected and therefore reproduced far more than the original. Not only does this now endanger me, but it also maliciously seeks to obscure my intention to deplore such violence. Utterly, yes. So, here we go. Katie said, you incite violence. BBC reporter. Okay, you are not the victim. Remember that. Katie's the victim, or was the victim, but still is the victim. Damage is done at the moment of publication. See Monroe versus Hopkins. Ooh, there you go. Bit of history for you. I encourage others to share this highlight despicable BBC leftists. Yes, you see, you're not allowed to post stuff up on social media that Katie might find offensive. Okay, as a benchmark of everything that is pure and good in the world. And anyway, then I moved on to obviously some of the other stuff that was being posted up. We get libs of TikTok, which Lawrence Fox had posted up. Yeah, Director of Secret Service Kimberly Cheetle said she was aiming to make the Secret Service more diverse and hire more women. You can see where this one's going. This female agent, couldn't even holster her gun today during the attempted assassination of Trump. Yeah, DEI hire. Yeah. Because obviously, you see, the deep state, right, okay, hates Donald Trump, which is why he won the election in 2016, okay, even though they are all powerful. And anyway, he did win the election as well in 2020 because the DEI and no, not the DEI, the deep state, sorry, is all powerful, and they stopped him. Do you see the way that works? Yeah, definitely. So anyway, what they did, right, okay, was they got somebody who was not a lone gunman but a member of Antifa to go up on a roof, right, okay, and not shoot Donald Trump. And the people that were protecting him were DEI hires, because the deep state would surround people who wouldn't stop Donald Trump being killed. Yeah, I'm not quite sure where that's supposed to go. But anyway, apparently that's true. And you know that things are good in the world when Lawrence Fox is reposting stuff from Libs of TikTok, that very reasonable organisation. Yes, and of course, we end up with this generic sort of sense of the left as a uniform block of people who all go to the same meetings, like what I do, yeah? Antifa is a terrorist organisation and should be banned because somebody who was the shooter, who was a registered Republican, but everyone says that that's undoubtedly not true, who gave $15 to a Democratic cause, so therefore obviously is a member of the Communist Party, is also an anti-fascist. If you like. So anyway, at the moment, as of today, as of this morning, we don't actually know what's going on with this bloke. I mean, is he a member of a nefarious plot or a lone wolf type? Because usually when it's neo-Nazis doing this, they're lone wolves types. Or maybe it's a deep state operation whereby he's a neo-Nazi lone wolf type who's been recruited by DEI specialists at the BBC. I'm not really quite sure. Anyway, the delightful Nigel Farage managed to make the entire conversation yesterday about himself all across the media. I love this. Okay, so in the Telegraph, Trump had a narrow miss. It's a miracle. I implore the left to think very carefully about how they seek to play politics, writes Nigel Farage. Yes, indeed, it's really important. We mustn't use inflammatory language, must we? Nigel Farage, of course, was the man who said that Brexit had been brought about without a shot being fired during the Brexit campaign where Joe Cox was shot. But I'm sure that was just a joke or something. Anyway, that doesn't count, all right? Yes, I'm flying to America to support Trump in this desperate hour, yes. And he was also telling various people that had he not been made the MP for Clacton, probably against his wishes or something, I guess, then he would have been in that crowd and he could have been shot. And that would have been really serious because, it's Nigel. Wow. Anyway, Paul Golding, who's probably the ultimate in grifterdom, managed to put this up. I must admit, that is a stunning photograph coming out of yesterday. Let's face it, that'll win him the election. I'm not quite sure if me saying that is bad, actually, because various people have criticised other people for saying that'll win him the election, even though that'll win him the election. Anyway, you see my point about, being sort of rational human beings? There are things you're allowed to say. You are allowed to say that. It's like, oh, that's a good career move. That's what they said about Elvis after he died. Oh, that's a good career move. It's true. Anyway, Paul Golding, I will react, notice the italics, like a left-winger. After the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, where you need to ban all left-wing parties, starting with the Labour Party, the Lib Dems, the Greens, etc., they're all responsible. We need to shut down their politics of hate and division. Yes, you see, because a bloke got up on a roof in America, then we need to ban everybody who's vaguely in the centre of British politics. Okay? Yeah, that makes sense to me, Paul. As much as anything else that you put up, obviously. Friar Calvin Robinson, God's number 2, if you don't count Jesus. I'm not quite sure if he does. Anyway, our God is a living God, he posted yesterday. He is intimately involved in his, capital H, creation. 3 months ago, Trump's attempted assassination was prophesied, yes. May he be on fire for the Lord, yes. Because some bloke that they've dug out some clip of was saying, wouldn't it be good if like there was an assassination attempt which didn't actually kill him but just clipped his ear? One is reminded of an infinite number of monkeys with an infinite number of typewriters, because I've seen other things as well yesterday about like clips from the TV where people are joking about assassinating Trump, and apparently it's all part of God's master plan to something, because he's God. Okay? Yeah, anyway. Yes, then we have Darren Grimes, of course, who was right on the money yesterday. Again, somebody that never posts up anything that a rational human being would, okay? But that's not his job. Let's forget this. With all of these people, it's not their job to provide a rational discourse. It is merely that they are the bag holders for other people and the yes men. Effectively, that's what they are, and should be despised on that level, if nothing else. So anyway, Labour MP Kim Ledbetter rightly identified identifies the worrying threats and intimidation rampant in our own country. She highlights a list of MPs in constituencies with high Muslim populations, but doesn't identify that. Until you establish the threat, how can you even address it? Yes. Now, which actually makes no sense whatsoever. She highlights a list of MPs in constituencies with high Muslim populations, but doesn't identify that. Okay, so... okay, right you are then, yes. So it's the Muslims' fault that the white guy who's in Antifa and is working for the DEI and the Deep State and the BBC is a Muslim. Is he? I don't know. You see, I'm just totally confused. But luckily, what Darren's managed to do there is just squeeze in a lovely bit of, insightful Geordie racism into it, isn't it? Which is good. That's his job, after all. And, if we want to sort of bring it all together, we end up with this, okay? So Darren Grimes reposts Paul Joseph Watson, who's reposting Darren Grimes, who's quoting Nigel Farage. See the way that works? Yeah, so Nigel Farage slams the BBC, whose comedians and presenters have made jokes, in inverted commas, advocating political violence that's been deemed permissible because it's aimed at those on the political right. True, you cannot smear people as fascist, Nazis and dictators and not expect reprisals. Yes, indeed, which is why I'm so careful about, making sure that when I call someone a fascist, it's bleeding obvious that they are. That's the reason I do that, Darren. And there's Paul Joseph Watson, somebody who certainly ticks all the boxes for being a fascist. There you are. I've managed to say that. Is he in danger now? No, of course he isn't. BBC hosts suggest Republicans are to blame too. Vile. Yes, isn't it? Because, of course, these are people across the board, aren't they? Paul Joseph Watson, Darren Grimes, Katie Hopkins, et al. The one thing you can say about all of them is that they are very, very measured, thoughtful, and nice in their responses in political matters. They aren't the type of people that get taken to court and cleaned out because they say obnoxious things to minorities. Oh, no, not them. Ooh. Anyway, yes, enough of this. Astounding though, isn't it? These people ask you for money to do this, okay? Yeah, let's face it, I mean, you might not like what I do, you might not like what I have to say, but at least I'm not a trained monkey. At least I'm a human being that thinks for myself and I don't follow a party or just simply a block line. Okay? I don't like the Labour Party. I don't like Keir Starmer. I don't like elites. I don't like the political system, and I don't like the economic system. There you go. It's as bluntly as that. Anyway, I'm on one today, but it was astounding watching this stuff come through yesterday, and you just think to yourself, oh dear God, how have we managed to get here as a society where these people, there are people, like yesterday I had people in my comments, you're a moron. Yeah, all right, okay, obviously I am, but what are you when you think that these people are somehow magically telling you the truth? Jesus. Anyway, do have a lovely Monday. Oh, it's dangerously close to the summer holidays. Jeez.